According to the 2018 Verizon Data Breach Investigations Report, 53% of data breaches resulted in damages of more than $500,000, and the annual cost of cybercrime is expected to be $6 trillion by 2021.
There's a lot of people out there that have organized, and there's a lot of GitHubs out there where there's all these hacker tools and techniques that are being built every day.
Educating local businesses on how they can shore up their cyber defense was the topic of two seminars, one in Boardman and one in Warren, held Thursday by Farmers National Bank.
Big thing you want to look for is your antivirus doing something more than checking a file signature or a blacklist?
Audiences heard from Stephen Bish, senior security analyst with Pittsburgh-based Schneider Downs, who says you don't have to be a cyber expert to find a company's weak spots.
I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is not really understanding that it isn't some really highly technical exploit that people are using to get in. It's common techniques that anyone would really understand. It's, a dedicated attacker can just find an interface and start guessing passwords. You don't need to be an expert to do that. And those lead to some serious compromises. And then once they get in, they just keep poking around and fumbling through till it's a full-blown breach.
And Bish says it's a mistake to think that just because your company is small, it won't be targeted. The same Verizon report also found that 61% of cybercrime victims in 2018 were businesses with fewer than 1,000 employees.
So even if they have 20 to 100 people working for them, if they don't have a lot of other data, they still have all those social security numbers and all those addresses and email addresses. That's what hackers want. They want to take those identities and sell them.
Bish says some of the most common attacks are phishing scams and ransomware. In the latter case, a hacker locks a business's computer system until the business pays the ransom, usually a fairly small amount of money.
This is a very successful operation. People usually will pay the ransom just to try and see if they get their data back, because they're already spending 10 times more than that just in trying to fix it.
Bish was introduced by Tim Schaefer, Farmers East Regional President, who says the bank works closely with its clients to protect against cyber fraud.
So you have check positive pay, which means a customer will provide a list of checks that they have written and expect to be presented, and the bank has that list, and when those check numbers come in, we match up, and if there's a check number that's not on the list that the customer provided, then obviously that is not a check to be paid.
90% of all data breach incidents have some element of phishing involved. It's usually just a foot in the door, and then they take that foot in the door and they use actual techniques, real hacker methods to pivot around.
Bish and Schaefer both say they can't overstate how important it is for businesses to get educated about cybercrime, because the cyber criminals are getting more and more sophisticated every day.
It's a scary world out there. There is a lot of talent operating in cyber fraud, and they're smart people, and it's a growing industry.
I think people get comfortable and they don't ask enough questions. I think, go to your IT people and be like, if this happened, what would we do? A lot of times just asking those questions can fuel a really good development of an incident response plan. People oftentimes aren't as prepared as they'd hope they'd be whenever stuff does happen.
717 Credit Union. Business services designed to meet your daily needs. Commercial loans, business deposits, merchant and payroll services. 717 Credit Union. It's knowing you were treated right every time.